An area in Pietermaritzburg in KwaZulu-Natal where voting registration has been underway. This is where 3 people were killed during the November election 2 years ago. Karinda Jagmohan is our reporter live to us from Azalea. Thank you for your time, Karinda. Good afternoon to you. One wonders if what happened in the last elections and the political violence we saw in that community somehow has affected the community members and their perceptions towards voting and participating in this way in the democracy. What have you seen there?
Indeed. Well, we have seen residents come to register to vote or to check that they are registered to vote. The shooting that happened near this voting station about 2 years ago and the November election at that time, where 3 people were killed, that happened just nearby. And it wasn't confirmed yet, and it still has not been, the motive for that shooting has not been confirmed in terms of whether it was related to the election at the time or not. But what we know is that crime is high in the community of Pietermaritzburg, this Azalea area, Dambuza, where we were much earlier, in Bali as well. We've seen various shootings there. But nonetheless, we do see residents coming in to register to vote. One of them is Happiness Mkhize. She actually used to live in Gauteng before. She's moved back to her hometown. And you came to change your address, make sure you register to vote. Happiness, why is it important for you to vote in the next election?
Thandela ukuthi ngivote ngalana njengoba kuzovotwa manje ngithe mangifika lana ngabona umphakathi walana ukuthi uyathuthuka imigaqo ngifike ngekho right isi-right manje nezindlu zi-right izindlu ehlala kuzona mazidemeshekile njengoba kade kunemvula silungiselwe izindlu ehlala kuzona ku-right manje. That's why ngibona ukuthi kubalekile ukuthi ngishintshe ngizovotela ngala into esuke ikhona ngala.
You know, we were just talking about the crime in the area, the shootings that have happened as well. I know you weren't here when the shooting happened 2 years ago, but do you think it's impacted residents to come to vote or to register to vote? Do you think that they're scared?
Yeah, kuke kwaba sike sahlupheka kakhulu kudutshulwana ngoba nami ngomunye kwifamily yami khona oke wako involveka khona ukuthi adutshulwe but ngenhlanhla wasinda. Kodwa from there manje kushintshile, sesinama security ayasigada manje sesisafe, sesikhona ukuthi sihlale nje kahle ngokuphumula.
You've seen police around the area.
Yes, sinama kahle kahle sinama security kakhulu, sesinama security asigadayo namaphoyisa ayaqhamuka but sama security asigadayo njengamanje.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mkhize. Happiness Mkhize just speaking to us there. And as she says, she has seen some security. We also saw some police vans around the areas we're driving here. And this comes after the IEC in KZN, as well as the Department of Community Safety and Transport, did mention that for KwaZulu-Natal specifically, they've categorized voting stations with regards to it being high risk, medium or low risk for political violence or political intolerance, which has become synonymous with our province here. And the Priscilla area, this police precinct, is one of those high-risk areas with the example of that shooting happening 2 years ago. The IEC has said that voter registration is not necessarily the time you might see those instances, but there have been incidents in the run-up to the election season where you see the murders occurring or the killings of political representatives, and in some cases, unfortunately, citizens caught in the crossfire as well. But as she said, of course, residents do want to still come to make sure that they're registered to vote. For many people, accessing the online platform to register or check if you're registered is not possible, and that is why this community hall here, my colleague Lungelo is showing you, is one of those spots now for the community to come this weekend and check that they're registered to vote.
All right, Karinda Jagmohan, thank you for that update. Live to us from Azalea in Pietermaritzburg. The Independent Electoral Commission in Balanga says the voter registration process has been smooth in that province, except for a few disturbances in at least 3 areas. There were protest action in Bushbuckridge, Mapotla, as well as Emalahleni, where residents forced IEC officials to close voting stations. Mweli Masilela is following the story for us. Good afternoon, Mweli. How is the voter registration process going so far on day 2?
Clement, so far the voting stations we've visited here in Secunda and Mbalenhle Township, so far everything has been going smooth except for those cases that you have mentioned that happened in Emalahleni Bushbuck Ridge as well as the Dr. J.S. Moroka municipality. But what we have seen is that indeed, in as far as the number of people coming through, there's very few people who are seeing at the voting stations. But of course, you would anticipate that because there is the online voter registration process, which it looks like, even according to the IEC, most of the people are indeed using it. But let's bring in Sam Masango. He's a member of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC, as well as the head of the portfolio of information and publicity for the ANC here in Mpumalanga. Political parties have been campaigning or pushing campaigns to ensure that people vote, especially young people. Would you say that the ANC in the province has run a successful campaign to ensure that people do register to vote?
No, look, thank you very much, and greetings to your listeners as well. Look, firstly, as a Provincial Executive Committee, we appreciate the number of new voters that we have managed to register since yesterday, the opening of the voter registration. We have managed to attain 12,108 as per the stats of IEC, which is the great number to us as the province. And we appreciate the online voter registration that IEC introduced to make it more efficient for our people, especially for our young people, to come and be able to make it easier for them in their handheld terminal, which is the cell phone in that regard, to register and to make sure that they will be eligible to cast their votes. Obviously, we might not be happy in a democratic dispensation, in a democratic space, where people have the right to say, I raise my opinion in this side, I raise my opinion on that. But it is important. That is why, as a Provincial Executive Committee, through our sector engagement, the churches today, pastors, are going to extend the message to our congregants in different forums to encourage them to come and register to vote, to deepen the democracy that we all fought for.
Your party, the ANC, is in control of many municipalities and also in control here in the province. And many people that we are talking to, as much as they are willing to vote, they are very hesitant to say that they believe they've been failed, especially on service delivery, clean drinking water, proper roads, housing. Would you perhaps still encourage people to say go to the polls in as far as after raising these issues?
No, look, Mr. Mweli, you will understand that the African National Congress, through its effort to better the lives of our people, we accept where there are a number of challenges that are informed by social participation, whether positive or negative, that have an impact to the rolling up of number of infrastructure, the number of stoppages of infrastructure, the budget also that affect those kind of planning. But however, where we are seated now in Governing Peggy, we are greatly and happy to say the improvement of the livelihood of our people from 1994 coming this side, you will agree with me, these were dumping zone of an apartheid era, and we have turned them to become a world-class environment for people to settle. If you remember, majority of our black people, where they were coming from, it was a dumping in through a system called the GG during that apartheid, where black people are moved in all over. These areas that are today we're standing on, these are areas that the ANC makes sure that it's formidable, it brings structures in between, infrastructure. Obviously, when you deliver service delivery to majority of our people, you will confront a number of challenges. You will still have the voice that says, I'm not satisfied here. As the government in charge today, we are adamant that we are improving from yesterday, because yesterday it's better than today where we are sitting. We are adamant that when our people vote, that is why we are encouraging everyone across the country to continue voting the African National Congress, because we knew when we come to this government that it's not going to be easy. We are going to confront challenges, we are going to confront systems, the act that we must comply to, and the consultation of public, those are things that are processes that at some point they hold the emergency of implementation of service delivery. However, we are certain and we are encouraging our people that slowly but surely, siyazanagibo, better their lives.
The ANC getting 78% of support in 2014, and 2019 looking into the numbers getting 70%. It shows that there is a decline in terms of support. Are you confident that coming to the next election, which is 2024, the ANC is going to perform well?
Look, Mr. Mweli, I can agree with you that the ANC will perform great this time. One reason. When you take an initiative in a society, you allow opinions. That doesn't mean people, when they raise their opinion, they are angry at you. They are saying, fix here, fix here. You will agree with me on the manifesto, review the president, and Comrade Nomvula Mkonyane Ntula March explicitly explain the effort towards how the ANC is responding to the cry of our people. That is so giving you an info or a trust to say, we are really supporting the African National Congress. Yes, fix where you find number of challenges. To us, we're impressed by the number of young people who are so confident that the ANC, it is the only organization that can transform and take this life of the people further beyond from today.
All right, Sam Masango, he's a member of the Provincial Executive Committee of the ANC here in Mpumalanga. Well, as we have heard, we'll continue also talking to other representatives of different political parties as we monitor the registration process here at different voting stations.
All right, Mweli Masilela, thank you. So from Mpumalanga to the Western Cape now, where there have been no major reports of disruptions at stations, it seems the IEC is facilitating a seamless voter registration process in that Cape Town metro. Nasiphi Same is our reporter on the ground who joins us now from Langa. Good afternoon, Nasiphi. How have things been going there for the IEC over the last 2 days?
Well, as you put it, it seems to be going quite seamless here in the metro, the city of Cape Town, where no major incidents have been reported. However, yesterday we received that update from IEC that 2 voting stations in Marikana Informal Settlement will not be opening for the voter registration weekend due to external reasons which were linked to service delivery challenges, where the community indicated that IEC should not open their doors to the public in that particular community. However, thus far, no reported incidents. However, one of the major concerns that a number of citizens have actually highlighted is voter apathy, or rather the youth not registering to vote. A number of them citing that a plethora of service delivery challenges and broken promises is the reason why they will not be registering to vote today. However, I'm joined by 2 youths here in Langa, both of them registered. However, I'll be speaking to Sivenati, who is on my right-hand side. Sir, thank you so much for your time. But earlier on, you were telling me that you had registered to vote. However, a number of youth that we have spoken to have indicated that they will not be voting due to broken promises. What would you say to them?
I will advise them to come and register to vote, because the only thing that we need to change this government, and we can't change this government by sitting at home. We need to come in huge numbers and vote for the EFF. As they came here in huge numbers. I've seen a lot of youth coming in huge numbers voting for us.
But many of them, Sivenati, would say that they voted in the municipal elections or the local government elections last year. However, promises are still broken and have not been met. So how then do you encourage somebody who says that promises have not been met, and you're encouraging them to vote now?
Yeah, if they wanted the change, they should change the government. If they will continue voting the same ANC, then there's nothing going to change. The only thing they can do is to vote for EFF. We are their last hope.
Sivenati saying that his political party is the last hope for the youth, and if you want to make a change, you need to actually get up and register to vote. But I'm also joined by someone here who's also a youth. So we're hearing from Sivenati encouraging the youth to vote, saying that as much as promises were broken, they do believe that come the next general elections, change will be made. What do you think needs to be done differently when targeting the youth or the youth voter?
Manizibulisela nam izolethu. Ulutsha lakhona namhlanje aluhlukanga kakhulu kulutsha langaphambili. Khumbule utshintsho lolwenziwa ngaphambili lolwenziwa lulutsha. Eyona nto ibalulekileyo kwangoku iseyiyo lena bathi self-determination. So the youth of today is not that self-determined, given that it has been turned by what has been done by the youth of the yesteryear, which is obviously the ANC. Right now, what we need as the youth, it is to pump back the life into the African child, Doing so, that meaning that the youth will be then self-determined. When you're looking at the youth, not looking only at the youth from the outside, obviously we are looking at the African youth. Remember that the Africans is whoever pays his own loyalty to the African development, meaning that the African child of the indigenous as well.
A tangible solution now, how do you then implement that when you are conversing and encouraging the youth to vote? For example, a youth here in Balanga, how do you implement that when you're encouraging them to vote and they're highlighting valid reasons as to why they will not be voting?
All right. So part of the main reasons that the youth are not voting, it is obviously the service delivery. The main issue or the major aspect on how to then encourage the youth to vote. I am the youth, less than 35 years. So if you look at the youth that has just passed us right now, many others are going to different services. Others are going to church to pray for change. Such hope as well has been lost in many of the youth. The only way that we can do then, it is to encourage the youth to come to the voting stations, to register to vote. The vote will then be for the PAC or any other political organization. Other than PAC, then I do not see any other solution that will come for the African child other than the PAC.
Register to vote and engage in voting. A youth here in Balanga saying that they believe, or rather, not only are they registered to vote, but they do believe that change will come through the ballot box, and making that all-important X. And basically, as I indicated, that as much as this has been raised as a concern, that a number of youth are not coming out to register to vote, I do think that particularly now is a time for not only the various political parties that have been targeting or having a concerted effort to entice the youth to register to vote,